Hey, Pastor, how's it going? Pop this on over here. Oh, there I am. Good. I'm not even using the green screen today. I'm just working on system stuff, so I figured I'd have some stuff up over here. I got to work in the other monitors a little bit too, but I'll have some stuff up there for you guys to keep an eye on. Let's see. Trying to see if I can check. Sometimes the YouTube just takes a little while to get started, so I'm giving that a second to run through what it needs to, so let's give it a second here though. You know what, I gotta get, let me get my what's my 9090? No, what is he, 190 something? Ah, there he is. Yeah, I wanted my Prometheus instance up because I need to ask it some stuff around. I'm gonna find, I realized that it's been a while since I've had this up, so maybe I need to go fix this one. And oh, that's also in my InfluxDB, so I might need to go look at my InfluxDB server. So give me a second for that real quick here. Clear that, exit out of there. Grep influx, let's see, hosts, right? So he's my influx 2 server, so that's his IP there. So it's going to be 2.168.11.181.8086. And then I think last time I was in here, I don't remember the freaking password for this. I think it was Scott something. I can't imagine it was something that short. Hold on. I think it's admin. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I don't remember what the password was for this one. And I think I had wiped it last time I did this. Maybe I got it somewhere, but I did not see that. Ahmed Nasser. I did not see that the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded for neural networks and machine learning. No, I missed that. Did it just happen? I'll tell you what, the Nobel Prize has had some absurd things over the years anyways, so I'll let you guys go look that stuff up if you're interested in that. Tookie, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. I am just hanging out, working on stuff today. Now that I think about it, yeah, I don't think I send anything over to my Prometheus, so maybe we'll leave that open for now, but let me see if I have, give me 1 second here. Let me go to my little intermission for 1 second. Let me check if I have something. I don't think I have this in here, but let me, 1 second. No, I don't have it in there. So even if I did know it, I don't know it from this. So all right, well, that's fine. Let me try. I think I guessed some of these the other day, and I couldn't remember them. I could have sworn it was. Yeah, I thought they used admin as their default. Nope. It's not that, huh? All right. Well, we'll worry about InfluxDB stuff later. That's not a big deal. I wasn't really doing too much with that today anyways. So what I do need to do, though, is in my... I got to check my live streaming on YouTube. Hold on. Should be up, but it just takes a long time to come up. Such a weird way to look at things. Give me 1 more second here, guys. I guess I could watch it that way. Nah, I don't want to watch it that way. I want to actually go look at the video. All right. That looks like it finally connected. All right. That looks better. That looks like I finally got connected over there. So I just want to make sure that it was running on both sides. So yeah, AI took over physics. That's yeah, it's interesting. It's you know, if the main commodity of what you do is your ability to recall things, computers are eventually going to beat you. So I mean, and process and compute things, I think computers are going to eventually beat you there too. So yeah, I mean it's interesting. I think humans are still going to excel for a while in non-discrete tasks, things that can branch too many times and that kind of stuff. Um, but it's, I mean, it's like that idea of like they haven't mapped all of chess yet. But once they've mapped chess, you won't need to play it anymore because you won't be able to beat a bot anymore. You know. All right. Anyway, so let's. I got to pull up. Hold on. I got it on my other screens here. So I was gonna do a little bit of working on stuff while we were kind of sitting here, and the things I need to work on are mostly around building out some component docs. So I'm going to be kind of going through these. I'm going to let those things spin over there. And I'll probably be just working on this and grabbing some notes out. So one thing I need to find is ME5024 style Dell block storage. And these block storage devices, I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of these. Let's see if we can find one of these in a, heck do we call them? Like a product guide or a documentation form. Yeah, if we can find documentation, let's see. Let's see their PDF here. So, this is their command line reference for this tool, which is fine. I had to get into some of these the other day when I was in the data center because we didn't have access to them. So I was actually jumping into these boxes and I had to hard reset their system, which is probably in here, how to hard reset all of their passwords if somebody has set, one of the guys on our team set the password and then left and didn't document the password for any of us. So I had to go set the password for the system, and I had to hard reset it at the box, right? So that's always fun. This is a command line guide to this. This is fine. This is actually something I'm still going to link for these guys in this training, but this is not. I'm going to link this over. So I've got some training docs, and actually, you know, maybe I'll just pull this out in my notes for now, and I'll say over here, training notes, right? Because a lot of you guys know I like to do raw notes. And then the ME5024 systems CLI guide is here, right? So I'll put that for the team because that's going to go as part of the training. I won't dig into that training real hard because, or during the training real hard, because that's going to be something that the admins need to go do, right? But what I want to do is, do they have, so here's a owner's manual. This might be a little more generic. Let's see if this one's a little more. Yeah, locate the service tag, removing second controller, operation. Okay, so this is more of what I want to see here. Rear storage. Yeah. This is the different type of enclosure variants and stuff like that. This is the one that I ended up having to take over. And if you zoom in on this, right, which I'll actually be grabbing this picture for my training here. Right here where you have right at 4 and actually on 2 and 4, there's like a micro USB connector, right? And these little micro USB connectors that you use, then you can connect in off of your actually let me think. How was I connecting to this one? Yeah, I was using my micro USB, and then I was connecting over PuTTY on COM ports. Yeah. So they should have that on here, and then they should have connecting serial, typically what we call it, serial connection. So if you're doing a serial port for USB, that's going to be 3 right here. Yeah. So that's what I was doing, was I was using their USB serial port to connect. And then, let's see if they have clock rate. If they don't have clock rate, then that means they're not going to show connection over serial. But we'll go still check to see if they show the connection over serial here. Nope, nope, nope. That's just stuff about it. Serial numbers. I don't care about serial numbers. Yeah. Emulated serial port. Okay, this is what I was doing. And then you connect in off of like a PuTTY, off a command line. Yeah. Yep. So I was using PuTTY. So when I connected, I was on a Windows machine that I use for work. Actually, the same one I use for streaming too. And this was how I connected to it, was just with a mini. So I'm going to grab this. So this is the owner manual, and I'm going to grab this as part of my training as well. This is the owner manual. And in the owner manual, we're going to say connection to supported terminal emulators. Right here. I'm going to grab this. Actually, you know what? This might be better. I might need to switch this over to my LogSec, because LogSec will take pictures, right? You don't get images in the other tools, or in Notepad++. You can't use those images. So there's that. When you connect to COM, this is how you actually have to connect to the CLI there. So I'm actually going to add this as well to my training and say this is how you access connecting to a CLI. There we go. Edit, copy. Go grab this for my notes over here. Okay. So then I have my notes on another page. So while we're sitting here, by the way, if you guys have questions about Linux or like if you're doing the Linux systems administration, you guys know we're in week 4 now. Not a lot of people are still doing it. We dropped off big time. We had oh shoot, I don't know. We probably had 100 and something. It's like 193 people have said they'll do it, but then like when it starts actually going, we've dropped down to like we don't have hardly anybody still working on it. So I mean, we'll keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it just to have it done. But there's not a lot of people that are like still like keeping on. I'm not saying people aren't still coming. We still have like 50 plus people showing up and doing stuff. But like, there's assignments for this. And it's going to feel a little bit like college for some people. But it is what it is. Yeah, we've done these modules so far. And these are up on YouTube if people need them. Yeah, daylight. I tell people all the time, man, you can't go to the gym once a week and get big or get strong. I mean, you can probably do a little bit once a week, but you can't. You have to do this stuff spread out over time. Consistency is definitely one of the hardest things. Everybody wants to commit to things, but very few people over time will. And, I have a friend who he does a bunch of sales and he does a whole bunch of marketing stuff. And he's always telling me, he's like, Scott, you shouldn't give stuff away because people don't appreciate it then. And I'm like, yeah, but the people that do it are going to appreciate it, I think. I think the people that actually do it and hang out for a while, they're gonna appreciate this. Oh, I just realized I'm not looking at both streams. Hold on. Sorry, guys. So if I've missed anything on the YouTube side, that's my own fault. Hold on, let me go look. Yeah, I did miss some stuff on the YouTube side. Oh, school's been killing you. Look, Cyber Buffalo, if you're doing other stuff, please believe. That's fine. Let me do a test message on here because I'm not seeing... Okay, it's sending both. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't seeing the messages over here on my thing, so I don't know if people mind sending text. But, okay. So this is what we're working on next. Look, the next few weeks, we are, we're doing these technical things, and I keep showing you guys, when I show you this is the technical stuff, But then you guys come to the class and you're like, oh, Scott's talking about like triage, and Scott's talking about ops bridge, and Scott's talking about, yeah, because when we're meeting, we're going to be talking about the stuff that like you're going to do as an administrator, right? And then when you go hang out with the other people in the server, and when you go do your study time, that's when you're going to go work on this stuff, and that's when you're going to come back with questions and stuff like that if you have them. But you know, I mean, the technical stuff, I could just point you at Killer Coda and be like, there's all kinds of labs out there. There's thousands of labs out there. We're trying to like add more value to people that are actually wanting to get into the field, right? So there's that. Oh, let me throw this in my dock real quick. I want to clean up my dock just a little bit. I also want to grab. Well, let me grab a couple other things out of here. So it's this. It's this. I'm just gonna use this. So I'll get rid of OneNote or the Notepad++ for now. He's served his purpose for now. But let's say, okay, so this is one of the types of systems that people are going to run into in this connection, right? Micro USB, and then you've got a you've got a native driver on anything past Windows 10. You know, Windows 10 and past is going to have a driver to connect to this device. So that's fine. Command line. And then what I want to do too also, which should be in here, is user. Let's see. I just want to show the front and back of these. And these ones that I'm working with in this project look more like this. Hold on. I gotta rack my tiny little brain. Oh, I took pictures. Hold on, guys. I took pictures of my systems. And I did that because I do have a tiny little brain, and I do forget things. Not that tiny. It just doesn't work very well. Well, I need to... oh, it's all filled with memes. So many memes, guys. I gotta stop taking memes all the time. All right. So, here is... oh, I have like the before and after pictures of me cleaning some of these arrays out. Like because they had gotten dusty in the one data center they were in, and I actually cleaned them all off. So I took pictures of what they look like to show my boss, like, hey, this is what I cleaned up off of here. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta see. That's the 7625. That's a different server. XE8640. That's a different one as well. I don't think I took any pictures of the front of these ones. So, nope. So these are the other ones, and then there's XE8640 Dell Technical Guide. Ah, here's another one. So, we're getting your web UI container up for Ollama. The default only gives on the host networks. Trying to circumvent that and keep it separate. Interesting. Agalord, yeah, that's if you get that project going, or if that's something that ends up working well for you, you know, you can drop that in the Discord and let people see it. That's actually pretty cool. What happened here? Can't get a connection. Give me a. Come on. That's not good. Let's open link in a new tab. Nope. Let's open link in incognito. All right, that's weird. Open link in. Let's copy the link and let's go open it in Firefox. Maybe Firefox will give me a longer connection. Nope. Timeout after 7,000 milliseconds, which is weird because it wasn't anywhere near 7,000 milliseconds right there. That'd be 7 seconds, right? There's Ranger. Ranger's back up. Ah, well, maybe this one. Let's look at this PDF here. And then we'll go look at it in a brand new window, just to make sure that that's a good link to it. XE, what was that? XE. XE8640. And these specific function, right? And they exist in a couple of different places in this environment that I'm doing this documentation for. And I will note where they're at in the documentation or in the stuff. So then here, this is kind of one of the main things I'm doing about this is grabbing the view. I kind of want the view of the system. Yeah, so this is what the front of an XE8640 looks like right here, right? And I will take this. Oops. And I'm not gonna like sit around, like I'm not going through this doc. Like if I were to try to go give training on a big cluster that we've built and I were to go through like each of these docs, I mean, it would take me like weeks and weeks, right, to go through everything. So really what I'm doing is just showing them the front and the back and then showing them how to connect. That's the main thing that I kind of want to show them. And mainly for me, I want them to know that like right here, they can connect. Should be 7 and 8 right here. Yeah. Should be the USB port. And then you can connect that same way as the other system. So I will probably do the best way for me to probably grab this will not be like, I'm not going to show them all this stuff, just move it to my slides. I'm going to give them a place to go reference, you know. I'm really just kind of giving them a quick little overview of the device, right? So that's kind of the main thing. This is the one that we're using in the system. So this is the one that there's a few different versions of this that we're doing. So I'll grab this for them. And that should fit pretty well in my notes over here. So I grab that. Oops. All right. So we got that stuff. I need to check something real quick in my notes. So I've got this doc that I can't show you guys, unfortunately, because it's the build. But I want to see 2 of those, and then heavy 5024 block storage, and then XE 8640. These are different types of devices, but I think there's a couple other ones. There's definitely other nodes that I have to grab here as well. But these are, so what you guys are watching me kind of do right now, anybody that's hanging out, is I'm just going through and building out documentation. It's almost like a co-working stream. You guys are watching my monitors over there in the left lab, or on the left side of the screen here. And then on the right side, I'm just kind of watching, or I'm kind of doing a little bit of work. We get rid of Prometheus because we're not going to use Prometheus right now, but you guys can see Ranger. You can see all my different stuff going on. The next part is, so let's get the back of one of these. And again, I don't need... I don't know. I don't need to grab all of that. So maybe I'll leave that out. And I'm not going to show them the inside of the servers. Now, here's the thing. we have some specifications for what the training's supposed to do, and one of the things that the training's supposed to do is there's four kind of key things. It's preventative maintenance for hardware, preventative maintenance for software, and then what's the other two? It's preventative maintenance, and what's that other terminology? It's like I have to look at the wording. Hold on. See if I have the wording here somewhere. Because it's important, right? It's important how you build this stuff. It's preventive maintenance of software and hardware, and then remedial maintenance. So preventative is like before the fact. Like, what do? We look down the row every day and we see that all the server lights are on, and maybe if we hear a fan being weird, we go and we replace the fan, and if we find out that one of the power supplies is bad, that's preventative maintenance. Remedial maintenance of hardware and software is how do we get it back to working? Like, how do we get it back to like a good type of thing? Yeah, Agalord, hopefully this stuff, yeah. I mean, you can always go back and run through this stuff later, too. In the next few weeks, I'm still going to be working on this training a lot, but the wife is out of town from the 11th to the 21st. So starting this Friday, I might just do like a all basic Linux blitz outside of the Linux systems administration time, right? But I might just do, because like when the wife's gone, I mean, I guess I can go hang out with my brothers and stuff, but other than that, it's like I guess I can go do a lot of jiu-jitsu too. But the point is, I'm mostly just going to sit here and play with my computer that whole time, right? No, Traffic King, I'm grabbing these actually. I've been showing you guys as I've been doing these. These are right out of the Dell manuals. So I'm grabbing content from the Dell manuals for my training. And the reason is because I'm going to link them back. They're a Dell customer, and we're contracted and doing work for them. In fact, that's why I can't show you any of the stuff I'm doing, but I can show you the Dell stuff. And what it is it's almost like I'm taking a press and I'm just squeezing out the important stuff. Like, if you ever really need to dig in and look at these servers, here's your technical guides. I have all that in my training. But then what I'm showing them is like the stuff that I found useful when I was in the data center and the stuff that I did. Does that kind of make sense? It's like if you were like, hey, Scott, I need you to help me work on, my Bronco this weekend. And I was like, yeah, I'll help you work on your Bronco. First, we're going to sit down for 6 hours and we're going to read through the Chilton's manual for it. And you'd be like, I'm not doing that. Are you going to help me with my fucking Bronco or not? That's what you would tell me. And I'd be like, all right. Because I've been doing it for a long time, I can help you with your Bronco get to just the problem, and we can fix it in like 15 minutes, and then we can go drive your Bronco around out, romp it around, or do whatever we're doing, right? Because that's what we used to do when we were younger. Is like, well, we did a lot more with Chevy, but I did have Bronco for a while. But yeah, this is like the stuff that we would do, right? We'd go work on stuff. Well, the point is, I'm kind of squeezing down the important parts of this for them. I'm not just showing them everything and making them follow along with me while I read a technical manual. That would be probably one of the worst things ever. Right? So what I'm doing is I'm squeezing down technical stuff that's important. So I have more of my things over here. What's another one? I have this other type of device that I was working on, which is what's this guy? It's the S5232. There's a Dell networking switch, so one of these, right? And I might be able to find Dell hardware platforms for the OS 10, so it's called the Smart Fabric OS 10, right? And there's just a bunch of docs, and then there's knowledge base articles, but I want the manual, right? Series installation guide from 2023, that's probably fine. Let's look at this one. Let's see if I have this. I might already have this one. But if I don't, now I need this one. Yeah, Cyber Buffalo, I just call Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wrestling so that people don't think I do karate. But yeah, no, I wrestle, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I do catch wrestling a lot. I go train with a bunch of catch wrestlers from Colorado pretty often. So let's see if I can find this device. All right, yeah, so here's my switch. There's a bunch of my configuration stuff for my switch. That's fine. I'm not going to go through all that for them. What I will show them is my connections. Not DC power connections. That's just how you connect to the thing, or the thing to power. I'm talking about connection of typically serial cables. How you rack it, that's all important. But again, a lot of this stuff was already done, right? A lot of this stuff was already done by Dell technicians. So this stuff's already set up. They don't have to do this, but this is something good. Like if you work in a data center, I don't know how many of you have ever pulled up and worked in a data center. I did that for years, right? That's kind of not where I got my start, but that's where I did a lot of work, many, many years. In fact, I still go in data centers when they need me to, right? Yeah. But I mean, you know, they got to sign off on it, right? So like the Dell technicians have to do well enough. Yeah. I don't need any of this crap. I just need switch startup, switch placement, got all that. How the use? Let's see. Let's find users. There's a user guide. All this other stuff. This one is more the hardware type side of things. So I'm gonna grab this. 5200. This is very much like the hardware guide for this, so I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say 52. This is a S5232 F-ON gateway, and the hardware guide is this one, really, because that's, I mean, this is as far as this goes, that's hardware, right? And then I know that I have the software guide for this. There's a series setup guide, and I know there's also, and it's funny they don't have it right here, there's also a security guide to this one. How do you lock it down? This might be the setup guide. So let's see if we have Stig. Nope. So I actually have this in my documentation here. Hold on, let me go open up 1 second here in my downloads. I have my guide for this from when I was working on it. Just want to see what they're calling it though. So give me 1 second, I gotta pull it up. Open that with Chrome. Boom. So this is, yeah, the Dell Smart Fabric OS 10 guide for that type of device, right? So you come down here and this is the actual network operating system that's on top of that device, right? Let me go look here. Actually, I'm going to connect to that device. Hold on, give me in another window, right? In one of my this window. So I was telling you guys, unfortunately, I can't show you a lot of this stuff because it is part of a project that I'm doing. So I can't... Oh, I get the password right. Okay. Okay. Oh, there he is. By the way, you guys can ask me if you guys have any questions about the Linux stuff. No, I'm not in Colorado now. I was in Colorado back when I was in the Army many, many years ago. No, I live in Phoenix now, which it was like 100. It's 104 right now still in Phoenix. It's crazy. Crazy outside. Let me get this password. Hold on. What's my... Um, I think I'm getting in there, right? Okay. And then I got to do S5232F on. Okay, yeah. Okay, good. So this is the software guide, but I got to go find where this is on the web because obviously I can't just give them. I mean, I could link my version inside the PowerPoint. If you guys do anything with PowerPoint ever or any tool like that, I don't care what tool. If you want the open source stuff, Overleaf, if you embed stuff in it, it starts to get really bloated, right? So what I need to do is just go here out to the web and say, hey, can somebody show me this best practice guide? And here it is right here. So here's the PDF that I was just looking at. And, if any of you guys want it, I can send it over to you too. But the point is, this is the Gateway software guide now. So on Gateway software guide. Right. So the reason this is important is because, the guys who are getting on these servers. So when you build something for somebody, right? When you build a set of servers like this, there's always kind of like a formal acceptance, and that acceptance will be between 1 and 4 weeks, depending on the government contract and all kinds of other things. And what we do is, in this case, we're doing the acceptance portion. When we're done, we go out and we give the training. Like, we're basically like, hey, here's the keys to your new car. We've tested it the last little bit. It's all good. Everything's detailed. Here it is. And when you give those keys over, there's a certain amount of like, I've been on this server. I've been on these set of servers the last 4 months. And these people that I'm giving them to, they're Linux and network engineers and those kind of things and software guys with the different projects, but they don't know how to do this server. Does that make sense? Like this cluster of servers is different than other ones that they've done. So, Fisherman, no, I'm doing documentation, and I'm kind of like you were doing co-working earlier, so I'm kind of doing the same thing. I'm not showing you guys I can't show you the stuff in the lab, right? I can't show you that stuff, but what I can do is show you guys. I can't show you the training documentation I'm building, but I can show you some of the process of how I'm finding the docs and pulling the stuff out of the docs and all of that, if that kind of makes sense. So for some of this, it'll be, user login and settings and security and that kind of stuff. And I'm going to show this part. So this will be a screen grab that I have right here. User and credential management, right? And right here, boom. These are default credentials that come with the system. And as part of the security, right? So I'm going to note in the training, as part of the security, I turned off the Linux admin. So if you come into these boxes on anything other than the console, you can't get to the underlying Linux system. It doesn't allow you to do that. I don't think it matters if I did that, but hold on, I want to come back down here. And all I'm doing right now is just throwing these in my notes. And then later I will go and I'm going to backfill these after I stream for that kind of stuff. What was the question? How do you determine what you should and shouldn't disclose? Yeah, so Traffic King, it's their system. We're gonna give them everything. They are working in the system now, so they get to do all the things they want. They can ask us any questions. A lot of times when people are buying a system from a big vendor, I'll tell you guys this. Let me explain something like this about engineering. And this is a thing that I've been saying a long time, but it's true. If everything worked out of the box, the salespeople would set it up and they wouldn't need the engineers. What people need engineers for typically is to make this thing fit the right way in the environment it's going into, in the security configuration that's going into, in the high availability, configurations that are asked for, because different people want different things. We've talked about this before. Some of you guys have been around, and I've talked about STIGs. If we know all 200, there's 476 best practices for Red Hat 9 Linux. Why aren't they all just turned on? We know they're best practice. We know that they will stop somebody from getting into your system most of the time. And the answer is it makes the system almost completely unusable for anybody. And you say, yeah, but what about that guy who's really slick? Yeah, yeah, but guess what? He can't use his keys anymore. He's got to regenerate a certain type of key. Can't have no passphrase in it. Can't. It's like all these things that you're just like, oh man, I don't want to deal with that because I just want it to work. This is the same reason a lot of times when you guys buy, whatever operating system. Same reason with people with Macs. They're not hardened as far as they could go. They could be a lot more secure, but it would make it untenable. You wouldn't be able to, or let's say unpalatable. You wouldn't be able to stomach and actually do it right. Yeah. Network config. Yeah. So we do all that. We build all that stuff. And I'm not showing you guys any of that. That's why I'm doing very vanilla stuff over here. And I'm just showing you like this is what I would show somebody. These are the things that I would. Yeah, like the what was just mentioned is the authentication, authorization, and accounting. That's the old way they say it in networking. I think Hajime, you may have been around networking for a while to say it like that. But yeah, and then it's like, how do we point this back to the TACAC server that's going to do our authentication and that kind of stuff? Traffic King. Yeah. Oh, so no, that's a good question. So like when you're on something like this, you can talk about anything that the vendor has disclosed. So like this, the types of devices, like you guys, what I've never said is who the customer is or where it's going, right? Like exactly where it's going. Some of you may know the state it's going to, but that's pretty general. You can know stuff like that. But what you wouldn't do is I wouldn't show the terminal. I got the terminal up in a different window. I wouldn't show the terminal. I wouldn't show IP addresses. I wouldn't show exact device names or map things to things, that kind of stuff. Like I'm showing you guys that these are the types of devices, but that might as well be showing you that they're using computers and switches, Without knowing where those are and without knowing IP addresses around them, this might as well be me acknowledging that a BMW exists. You'd be like, okay, I know BMW exists. And I'm like, well, good. Then it doesn't matter that you know if I drive one or not. I don't. I drive a Chevy truck. But knowing that doesn't help you in any way because I'd be willing to bet most of you knew that Chevy trucks already existed. Does that kind of make sense? So trafficking, what it is we call in the security realm, the security side of things, we call stuff personally identifiable information, or that's for people, and you don't give away anything that allows people to kind of, and even if they can piece together who the person is or who the customer is or who those kind of things are, you get rid of that. Yeah, Colchis, if that's a surprise, then it is what it is. I did mention Broncos earlier, which was funny. If any of my friends were around, they'd be like, Scott, you had a Bronco? I thought you've been driving Chevy since you were like a teenager. And I'd say, yeah, I have been driving Chevy since I was a teenager, but I did have a Ford Bronco with, I had a 451 in that. Wait, no. That was it wasn't a 451. It was a does somebody help me out? Does Ford have the 406 or the 408 motor? Yeah, I don't remember. It is trafficking, but the point is, you don't show things that would be able to be pieced together and dangerous. Yeah, like it's the same thing a lot of streamers try to do. Like they don't want you to know their name. I don't care if people know my name. I'm a real person. Ford Raptors are pretty cool. I'm still a Chevy guy, right? Through and through, I've always been kind of a Chevy guy. But so there's privilege stuff. Like I'm not going to show that. Like one of the things I'm not going to do in preventative software management, I'm not going to go and teach them how to build a new role. Like it's really easy to make a new role and then drop users into that role, but that's kind of something for their guys to go do. And their network engineers should have, kind of like me when I first got on the system, I have enough network engineering knowledge and I've been a network guy for long enough that I've basically like pulled myself over. I always tell you guys, like, the magnets and then you got that little magnetic sand and like over 6 hours it pulls itself over the top. That's how I feel like a lot of this stuff is like I came onto this and I had never logged into one of these types of switches before. And they were like, Scott, you got to harden it. And I was like, all right, well, I know how to harden switches and I know how to get into switches. And for the most part, I can then go read the docs and pull myself the rest of the way over the top, if that makes sense. These commands look just like things I've been doing in Cisco for 22 When did I start my Cisco? Yeah, I started doing Cisco about 24 years ago, but I got my CCNA 22 years ago, right? 21, 22, somewhere there. And then there's all these things. I'm not going to show them all of this. I'm just going to point them to the fact that this exists, right? All right, so I've got those. I've got those. I think I've gotten all of the types of devices then, right? Let me see. I gotta find these storage. So I gotta go find something on one of my other slides now. Give me a second here, guys. So okay, we gotta figure this out now. So there's another type that I don't have here yet. So look, I've got the XE8640. I've got the ME5024. I've got another one that's already been done. I've got my gateway device with its different hardware and software guides. And then I actually have a different one, which is also, oh, this is the security. Yeah, this is fine. The software security guide. There's another set of devices for storage, or at least these ones fall into the category in this system of storage, and they are called R7615. So we're going to go grab some data about them, right? Pull a hardware guide for them. Let's go do that real quick. And look, guys, this might look like tedium, but this is what engineers do a lot of times, right? I'm building this documentation out and figuring out, you know, what my my system's going to look like. What did I just say? R7615. 15. Technical guide. Let's see if we can find it real quick. All right. So here's their PDF for that. I wonder if this is going to be another one of those timeouts. Oh, no, it's not a timeout. Okay. I'm going to be a party line security engineering, take over platform security engineering job. Hajime, man, I used to deal, like, because I was the platform engineering lead for AAA for a long time. And I used to deal with our security team all the time. And it was, I don't want to say it was like knock down, drag them out, like meetings and fights and stuff. But sometimes, man, we would yell at each other, like in meetings and stuff like that, and they'd have to bring higher and higher managers in to like get us to agree on stuff, because like I don't draw hard lines often, but when I do across engineering lines, they are a hard set line and I will not change them. It'll either be me or like you can replace me. I'll tell people that, like I'll tell you guys one of those hard lines if you want. Some of you guys have been here for when I've talked about them before, but like this is one. If you tell me that me and my team are responsible for something, this happened to me with the ServiceNow team. ServiceNow is, or Snow, right? Some people call it Snow. ServiceNow is a tool, and some other team, our configuration management database, CMDB team, or change management team, whatever we called them, they were in charge of it. And they told us that we were responsible for keeping our servers, like our servers that were listed in inventory there, up to date. They told me this on a call in front of managers and stuff, and I said, okay, good, I'll do it. What I need is admin rights to that list. I don't need admin rights to all the ServiceNow. I need admin rights to that list where when I hit an API, and look, I would have done, I even told them I'll do this in a meeting right now. I will go into my, I use Insomnia. I know some of you guys like Postman and some people do other stuff. I'll use Insomnia to form things before I go drop it into my Ansible playbooks, right? I'm a simple guy. I can do posts and I can do gits, right? I can do API stuff, right? At the most base level. And I said, we will figure it out right now. I will make the call. I will make a change. I will prove that I can make the change, and then we're good. And they go, we're not going to give you that power. And I go, okay, then don't tell me my team's in charge of it, because we're not. They're like, well, no, you'll come to us when you want to change stuff. And I said, then you're responsible for it. And they're like, we're not responsible for it. And I'm like, you want to make me the groundskeeper? I'm like that monkey that's like this and that meme. I'm like, you're going to make me the groundskeeper, but you're not going to give me any of the keys? That doesn't make any sense. Like, so you can't both tell me I am a thing and then make me not the thing. Does that make sense? I have to have, if I have to ask somebody for permission, I'm not the admin of that system. If I'm, anyway, so that was my point, and I dug my heels in on that one. I was like, guys, you will have to fire me or let me go. Tell me my services are not needed here. I am not accepting that. And that went all the way up to like sea levels. And they were like, why is this guy fighting so hard on this? And I said, because you can't tell me as an engineer that I'm both a thing and not a thing. Yeah, well, because look, Cuddlingus, because our CMDB was always busted, and it's because nobody that was responsible from any teams, not just my platform engineering, all the Linux and Windows, all the DevOps teams and all the other teams that had software, they also didn't have permission to change their shit. And it's like, well, then we're not in charge of it. Don't come a knocking, right? It's not on us. Okay, let me grab this real quick. Copy. Here's my guide. So here's my technical guide for this one. And again, guys, I just can't show you my I can't show you my training because of, whatever. Fisherman, you wouldn't probably accept that either, I bet. I hope you wouldn't. All right, let's go look at these systems. So here's the different ways that this system might look. There's a front view. Now, I know what this front view looks like because I'm pretty sure I have one of these guys in my... Remember I said I had some photos of these? I'm pretty sure I do have some front photos of these from when I was in the data center. So I'm pretty sure I know what the configuration of these guys are. Give me a second here. All right. So these ones, the ones that we're using in this, are this one right here, right? And there's different sizes and there's all that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit, and I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to say this is the one we have right here. Let me make sure. 24x. Oh wow. 16.2 plus 1. I've never seen that type of RAID before. And they're calling it distributed data protection stripe instead. So that's a new one to me. I'm gonna have to go look that up. What is a distributed data protection stripe? 16 plus 2 plus 1. Let's see if they have that here somewhere. Hold on. 16 plus 2 plus 1. I've never heard that term before. I've worked in data centers a long time, but who knows, right? It's over here on Weka. I'm not telling you we're using Weka, but I'm going to tell you that it took me to Weka. What's the white paper for Weka look like? All right, Weka's Wekaing. Good. What does it protect at? Weka's fast. Weka's NFS based too, under the hood. Anybody want this guide? Anybody want to read about Weka? Weka's kind of like the new and up-and-coming storage thing that Dell's been pushing. I can send that to you guys if you guys want. That's no good. That's no good. That's my file system. Why did it not? Well, you can't download that. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Here's the link. Here, whatever. You guys go grab it out of here if you want. Boom. Tried resetting iDRAC passwords via IPMI. Yeah, we use iDRAC and IPMI, and we use a tool called RackAdam. That's pretty good. So that'll work for you. Oh, man. I'm ridiculous. I didn't even realize it was locally hosted, but that's fine. That's fine. All right. Get that out of there. Let's grab this. Did I grab that already? No. Let's grab this. So this is the front of a server. That is the type here of an R7615, right? And I can also find more information about it in this technical guide, right? But then let's come down here and let's look a little more. Here's the back of the system, and this is the, right, we were here on the where were we at? We're on this one. the 24 by 2.5 inch drive. So now the rear of the I'm just going to use this one. This one should be fine as the rear of the system. And just for simplicity's sake, I might go grab... Oh, that's what's going on behind all the scenes. Hold on a second here. Put that up there. That's the rear of the system. So just for throwing it into my... When I put it in my actual dock, I might just grab this, even though it's just the tiniest little sliver, because it doesn't really matter. I'll just put that over the top of it. All right. Some of you guys might be like, man, this stuff's super boring. Yeah, this is what engineers do all day. They build stuff, and that's semi-fun, and then they document all the stuff they build. But the thing is, this has been the last few months of me building stuff, so now I'm putting together the training for all of this. And the training is also going to form a certain basis of function to the system. Now, again, I don't have to show them getting inside the system on every one of these systems. I mean, this isn't just going to be like me showing the riser. By the way, I've taken these apart quite a few times in data centers recently. This is like... It's almost like playing like a puzzle in reverse, right? I don't know if you guys have ever taken a car apart or something like that, but the last thing you want to do when you get done putting things back on is looking over and seeing like 4 bolts. These are pretty good, but you have to unhook a lot of stuff, and then you got to pull the fan unit out of the center. And this actually shows a pretty good set of like how you pull the things out and all that kind of stuff. So there's some pretty good stuff in here that I'm not going to be walking them through. There's also a cool little thing here. If you guys ever go to the front of one of these servers, let me show you guys this. On the front of every Dell server now, right? Like every Dell server has this little, it's almost like a little like slide card, and you pull it out like this, and it's got a little photo resource locator like that. And when you put a phone to it or a device, it'll take you right to like their help desk with all the stuff filled in for that server. It's actually pretty cool little thing. So yeah, like if you're, and actually one of the cool things about it too is like some of these servers are like real low to the floor, and it's real loud in a data center, and like you're down there laying there trying to read it out and yell it to somebody that's up above you or whatever. And if you're in a data center, when I was in the skiff the other day, I couldn't do this. Skiffs are terrible. You can't bring your phone in the skiff. But we were down on the floor, and the guy's like, fuck it, I'm just going to take a picture of it, and then brought it up, and then we like blew it up, and then we wrote out what we needed, and we're like, yes. So that was not in a skiff, though, because in a skiff, secure facility, you can't do that. Yeah, you get in a lot of trouble bringing a phone in a skiff on purpose. Yeah, you should only ever do it accidentally. And then they take your phone and they scan through it for a little bit to make sure you don't have any weird pictures in there. Then they give it back to you. All right. So these are all the configuration stuff. There's nothing in here that matters too much. Look, this is the components all taken off the system where the risers go, and then all the little connectors and stuff. Again, really fun thing to do if you haven't done it before. Also, most of these devices that I'm working with are over 100 grand each. So like you gotta be careful with them. I mean, you know, you don't want to blow something and then have to wait another week for it to come in or whatever. So, all right, they've got the power and they've got all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to read all that to them. The acoustics. Did you guys know acoustics affect servers? Yeah, you can go read about that if you want. Also, when I work in data centers, I always have earplugs. Most data centers, before you go buy the racks, will have like a box of earplugs that you can just grab, and then they're disposable earplugs. When you're done, you can throw them away. I grew up working at a shooting range when I was a kid, so I'll just wash my earplugs and then go put them back, and then I keep them in my jacket, because like you almost always have to have a jacket in a data center too. And you might say, oh, I'm pretty good and I drink a lot of coffee, so I'm pretty warm. Yeah, but sometimes when you get into like when you pull a plate off of a floor and you're like down in there, and it's a pressure change between the under the floor and above, it'll be a lot of airflow, and it's really cold air. So it's almost like if you've ever been in a freezer. I don't know if any of you ever worked fast food when you were younger, but you're in a freezer and it's just blowing cold air on you. It's kind of that same kind of feel. So, whatever happened? I'm missing stuff. This says admin course. Do you suggest diving into something you were a little outside of your comfort zone pre-existing? Cuddlingus, I would do that. Yeah. Cuddlingus, I had worked a few years back. I had worked on a project that had Kubernetes, and I didn't know Kubernetes. So I just kind of did like the commands that were shown to me, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing kubectl logs, and I didn't know anything about what I was doing. And then a couple years later, I did the CKA and the CKAD, and I kind of turned around, and I was like, that's all that stuff I was doing. Okay. And now it all made sense. And I was like, I don't know why I like let that be. I don't want to say scary. I just was like, that'll be stuff outside of like my sysadmin stuff. And like, but like all that, the DevOps and SysOps and systems world, like it's all melding. Like I tell you guys, almost 10 years ago now, I had to start learning Git. Why the hell do I got to know Git? I just write my own little scripts and do my own little Ansible. But it's like, no, to productionalize your Ansible and to productionalize the things that you do so other teams can run them, yeah, you gotta play like they were like, Scott, come out of the basement. You're not allowed to just hang out in the server room anymore. And I'm like, but I like my server room. It's loud and quiet in there. I don't have to talk to people. It's loud in servers, but it's quiet in people, right? And yeah, I tried to stay away from people. Yeah, walk-in coolers will the backside of servers tend to be a little hotter, right? The exhaust style. It tends to be a little hotter, but the front side of servers can be pretty cold sometimes. I just want to see if there's anything else interesting out of here that I want to grab. None of that stuff is important. You know, none of this is really super useful. One thing I am going to grab. I don't care about any of this. This is a big technical doc. I don't need any of this. Professional deploy infrastructure suite. You know, like they're going to help with that. I don't need to show any of this. One of the things that I do show, supported, there's a bunch of supported stuff. Okay. All right, fair enough. That's all from their documentation, right? They got some consulting and education services. That's fine. One thing that I'm going to call out will be right here at the bottom, and it'll be that quick little guide thing that we saw. So let me go grab, should be up here somewhere. Should be right around the front of the system. That guy. Where was he? This. And I'm just gonna. They may not be able to. I actually don't know this data center that I'm going to be working out of. But I'm gonna. I'll make this a lot smaller in the training. This doc. But I'll have it and I'll point to right here and just show them, because it's almost like this little flimsy. It feels like you guys ever see like that flimsy plastic, but it's not going anywhere. It's like it's hard plastic, but it's kind of flimsy, and then you can just see all of the information, the serial number and stuff. You don't have to go on the back and like try to find the serial number on any Dell servers anymore. It's all right on the front there. So it's actually pretty nice. So I'll call that out for all that. And that's this is like, you might say, well, how many slides is that you've gotten? Well, just on the hardware components, I've probably got about 8 slides worth of stuff right there, right? That's a good amount of extra stuff. So, all right, so we grabbed all these. I'm gonna leave these open just so I have them. I don't want to close anything down while I'm in the middle of working on this stuff. But I think I have kind of all of that stuff that I need. Let me go look at my training doc for other stuff that I was gonna grab. Let me go look up. Is there anybody out there with like a Weka overview? So there's Weka IO, right? And there's some data stuff. But let's see if anybody's got some good. Obviously, so Weka redirects here for Weka disambiguation. And this is what it stands for: Environment for Knowledge Analysis. So what is that? Waikato Environment for Knowledge Analysis. So I knew it was that. But this is owned currently by Dell, right? And no, this doesn't sound right. No, this isn't right. This isn't the Weka. Nope. So that's not the right one. Let's Good that we found that. I don't want to be training them that it's a bird out of wherever. Let's see if we can just find some generic. All right. Here's some basic stuff about Weka. This is right from their documentation. I can link you guys this. If anybody wants it. I don't know if anybody wants it or not, but you got your client. So the interesting thing about the clients, this is really cool. So the Weka file system sitting on the host, right? And then the Weka clients, when they come up, they actually mount a container, and the container does all of the talking back with the Weka file system. Now, the Weka file system that I'm running has multiple, it's got 20 nodes that have massive amounts of storage in them. So the client and the Weka file system are going to sit around, and they're going to deal with whatever the metadata and where the inodes are pointing to and all that kind of stuff, because this is a file system that is what we call a POSIX compliant, right? So it does inodes, right, at the file system level. So let's see. There's a rebuild process. There's all this. So some of this stuff I might pull out. Redundancy can be 16 plus 2 plus 1, which is what we're using. So I'm definitely going to use this, but I don't know to what capacity I'm going to use that. So this will be Weka. I also have a couple members on my team, so we're embedded with we're embedded with some Dell guys, or they're embedded with us, however you want to think of it, of that. So I'm going to get with them about what the Weka cluster looks like. If they have any training or build docs that they want me to include, I'll probably add that in to the training, because I don't think any of them are going to come out. I don't know why they wouldn't want to come out. I need them for like half a day to maybe 1 day of training if they want to spend that long on showing up, showing the Weka file system. But the funny thing about it is, they'd have to really suck it up and go out to Hawaii. I mean, who wants to do that, right? I'm just kidding. I'm going to be in Hawaii for a week doing this, though, so that's kind of cool. But so we've got this, right? This is the hardware components. I might grab again some more pieces of that. Then there's I have multiple Grafana instances inside of this as well. This is my home lab stuff, right? This stuff you guys are seeing. But I've got multiple Grafana instances out there that are doing different types of tracking and different dashboards and stuff. So I'm going to be adding those things as well to the training should be pretty good. So I'm hoping that looks pretty good when I get to that part. Let me check to see if the wife messaged me. Okay, wife did not message me. So we talked right before I started streaming though, so that should be fine. Let me look at. So I need the Weka stuff. I need some software stuff. There's actually a tool I want to go look up a little bit. I've told you guys about this tool for the software side of high performance compute. Have any of you guys played with SPAC? The HPC SPAC stuff? One of the guys in my company actually helps maintain this. He's one of the primary maintainers of this. I'll link that over to you guys in case you want it. But SPAC is a package manager that just makes deploying software libraries to 1,000 servers or 10,000 servers that are all exactly the same. It just makes it easier to do. It is a problem that you wouldn't think is that big of a problem, but it actually is a problem. You don't want some servers to be down and then they don't catch their updates, and then you should have a process for that anyways. But my point is, SPAC is a really good tool for that, and it's pretty well well documented. So we're gonna go to our SPAC docs here, and I might send a Slack message here in a bit to see how we have it set up, because I know I have some of the documentation on it, but it'll go and you can build things and pull down all your different libraries that you need. This is more for like the user side of things, but it's still something that my team maintains. So I have to put some slides together for that. I don't know that part very well at all. I mostly do the low level system stuff, right? Keep all the cluster working right. But let me grab that. Grab the docs. Put SPAC on there. I can at least have the docs on there for that stuff. All right. What other stuff do I need? What other stuff's going on here? Let me go check some of my other slides. Okay. So let's go check. So I use a tool often, and you guys have seen this in my home lab a lot, called Werewolf, right? And some of you guys that have been around have seen me use Werewolf to start nodes and pull nodes down and put them in, you bring them down as container images and you build them and stuff. So I'm going to see what Werewolf has for just their, I mean, obviously they've got their normal docs, right? But I want to see if they have a good little, just like a setup guide, right? So here's documentation. I've been to I use their user doc all the time. But maybe I want to see if they have just kind of like the high level. Like, what is it? Here's some features. That's fine. Background, right? This is that's how Beowulf was working. So any of you guys ever built a Beowulf cluster inside of a bunch of Raspberry Pis? Beowulf is the precursor to what became Werewolf, in case you guys are wondering. So it comes from software Beowulf, and those little Beowulf clusters. So that's an okay drawing. Stateless. We are all stateless, so that's important. Network. Yeah, we do define the network. All right. So they're not going to have any good like drawings. So that's fine. I have my own drawing that I started for some of this. Let me see. Let me check. Let me make sure I don't have anything on there that's problematic. Give me 1 second here. I'll show you guys one of my drawings here on this, if I can. No, I didn't do it down here. Where did I do that? I didn't do it here. I think I got it up. Give me a second. No, I don't have anything on it. All right, well. All right. Well, that doesn't help me any, I guess. I'll get around to that. I'm just looking for more stuff that I can pull off out of the world about some of this. All right. So there's a couple of tools, and I want to go grab if there's any good stuff on them. So Pacemaker. Have any of you guys ever run Pacemaker? Not the heart. Open source. So Pacemaker is a tool from Cluster Labs, and you use Pacemaker typically with some other tool. And in my case, I'm using Pacemaker with CoroSync, right? So let's see if we can find their documentation. See if they have any good documentation on this. Install. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. We got that all done. These guys aren't going to need to install it. I kind of need them to understand how to maintain it, though. So that's going to be down in the fencing of things. But let me see. Yeah, some of these are old. And they got Stoneth on there. Anybody know what Stoneth means? You can Google it if you want. It's one of my favorite things in high availability. Coruscant and Pacemaker. Coruscant works pretty well for this stuff. I want to see Pacemaker stack. Coruscant. Fencing Pacemaker. Okay. That might be useful to know. It's funny that hasn't been updated in 273 days. That's kind of a long time for something to... Huh. Alright. Fair enough. Core components, configuration tools. PCS is the tool that you use to control a lot of it and check the statuses and that kind of stuff. Okay. So this isn't going to give me a lot of great... I'm not going to get a lot of good stuff out of there, but maybe I'll get something out of there. So, it's our cluster labs for the high availability. So... and then what else? Hold on, let's go. Well, obviously Slurm, but I mean, I think most people know how to run Slurm, and that's from Sketch MD. If you guys don't know, Sketch MD runs Slurm. There's some really good drawings in Slurm docs, so I might pull some stuff from that around how Slurm kind of works. And I've shown you guys. I actually have labs that show you guys how to build Slurm out inside of Killer Coda, right? So pretty straightforward how Slurm works. So maybe I'll do a quick rundown of some Slurm stuff for them, not get too crazy in there. But that's what we call a job scheduler. Job scheduler, Slurm. And then I've got inventory stuff to do, but I can get the inventory stuff. That's not a big deal. I've got some labs to build for them, so I'll be doing labs. And then operation. I got 2 days of operation stuff to build too, so that's... Yeah. I gotta get all that going. Alright. Well, shoot, where are we at here? Hour 20? Let's go check on Ranger for a minute. How's Ranger doing? Man, that dog. He's even more tired than normal right now. Learn and Go. Is there any tool that would make sense to have in the cloud world? Colorman, I need that maybe asked a little bit different way. But if you're trying to deploy Go up into the cloud, I would use like some type of Kubernetes and then just have it containerized and throw it up in there. And then in that case, there's a lot of tools that'll do it for you. Actually, I had thought about tonight, since Pessa was over last night, one of the guys that's in our group, and he got my... I was having some networking problems in Kubernetes, and I had left it. And he goes, yeah, I'll check it for you. And I was like, all right, cool. So he actually hopped in and fixed... I hadn't went back and worked on it, but he got all my Kubernetes stuff up and running. So, like, I've got my... we could start building stuff out in Kubernetes again in the home lab, not just stuff out in the Killer Coda labs like we normally do. So I'm going to be working on getting some pages up here and getting some stuff that I want to run in like an immutable fashion available, and then giving people access to connect to it and that kind of stuff. So that'll be good. That'll be good for the people that want to do some other stuff with the labs and that kind of stuff, you should be able to get in there. But yeah, Colorman, sorry, I don't have a good, like, I'm not a Go guy. I have friends that are pretty good at Go and programming that, but that's not one of my things, unfortunately. So I don't know much about it. I mean, I understand it a little bit, and I've done some, like, little, I don't even know what they call their build process. I've done that a few times for networking stuff, but never done anything serious with Go. I would tell you one of the best ways to learn anything is to find a project, though. Don't just try to, like, go through a book and memorize shit. Find something like, deploy container in Go log. Maybe somebody did something in how to deploy a Go web app with Docker. Oh, somebody's going to show me how to do that. I've never done that before. And then maybe they'll do that. And then you say, okay, well, that's cool, but that's kind of boring. And then maybe I want to connect back to, because this is where you start to, be more valuable. Maybe I connect to Redis, and I implement a Redis cache with Go and Docker. And I'm just making these up. I don't even. I mean, I know what Redis is. Medium. It costs money. They might let me see a little bit for a second, but then it'll pop back up. But okay, so I could build. We should know how to build a Docker image. If we don't know how to build a Docker image, there's a bunch of ways to go learn how to do that. They'll teach you right on Docker, right? And then I say, okay, well, I can build a little Docker Compose file to stand that up, and then I can, talk to Redis or whatever. And then here's my Redis information in Go, and then I go stand it up and get it to work, right? And then look, boom, I've done some Go. And I don't even know any of this Go code right here. I just copied it from this dude online and got it to work. And then I go, well, but I want it to work this way, and then I want it to work this way, and then wait, can I run that in Kubernetes, right? And I start to like I tell people this is the same thing with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The first rule of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is don't be the guy on bottom anymore, right? So like the white belts are always asking me how to do all this crazy stuff, and I'm like, your first rule is get out from underneath people, and once you're holding people down, position before submission, right? Same thing here. Once I have a working system, I can go spackle whatever the hell I want onto the side of what works for me. And that's the kind of thing. Trying to do a great project with learning curve is steep, and I want to directly dive into something. That was what I was asking, actually. Sorry. No, so Colorman, I would find something interesting to you. I couldn't tell you, like, I literally just Googled those two things, right? Or, use DuckDuckGo if you want. I know nothing about Golang. I know a little bit about Redis. Like, I've connected to Redis. I've done some of their little labs on their university. I know how to connect to it with mostly Python. But I haven't had any real projects to do with it. So go find something like this that somebody did and then say, okay, well, that's cool. I built a container. I know how to build that now. I know how to deploy that with Docker Compose, which is a very specific way of bringing up Docker, right? And then I said, okay, implement Redis cache, so I'm pushing stuff over there, and then try to grok this stuff and understand what all this is doing. But even before you grok it, you can at least get it running, and then go start to mock up and change and do different things. And that's where a lot of the stuff that we do, I actually saw this post today on, I think it was on like X or something, and it was or Twitter if you prefer, and the guy said software engineering this is the job. Start writing software, don't know how to do something, go look it up, repeat. And I'm like, that's probably pretty accurate. Most of the guys that I know that do software engineering, they don't know everything. They just know enough to like go look stuff up and figure out how to get most of the stuff going. And they have that certain amount of, it was something that Larry Wall and Michael Christensen wrote into Programming Perl. You have to have this hubris as an engineer that you will figure something out. You have this hubris that like, I've never done that, but I bet you I could, because I know that guy did it, and I know this guy did it, and I don't think this guy's probably any smarter than me. I don't know, he might be, but my point is, like, I have to believe that I can at least figure something out, and that's like part of what we call the engineer's hubris. Normally hubris is a bad context, but as an engineer, you should feel like you can solve a puzzle, and then you have to go read and figure things out, and this didn't work, and that didn't work, and then that did work, then solidify your gains and keep moving forward. That's actually, by the way, that's the description of the process of hacking, right? Engineering is hacking until you get the right output. But you don't want to just be hacking around in the dark. You want to be reading stuff and that kind of stuff. Yeah, Cuddlingus, that's one of my favorite things. I have the book sitting probably right up over my thumb there. I have Programming Perl by Larry Wall and Michael Christensen, which is, I still would use Perl. I tell people I would still use Perl if it wasn't for the fact that, like, just most people don't use it anymore. So mostly I just use Ansible for everything. But Perl had some really cool use cases for pulling data, and it had a really cool way of doing a hash map and some of that stuff. You can still do that stuff in Python now, but it's just when you know how to do it a certain way, you kind of stick with that way, you know. So some of the seniors seem like beginners to me, but they know that they're tired of pretending they know everything. Yeah, Colorman, I tell people all the time, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I just know how to build stuff, and I'll figure it out, and I'll go read docs. I actually was in an interview one time, and they were like, "You're the first person to ever pull up a man page in front of us." And I go, "Really? I do command line all day. I pull up man pages whenever I need to." And they're like, "Yeah, we just never saw anybody do it." And I'm like, "What'd they do? Go to Google?" Like, you told me to be in this Linux server fixing something, so I did it, you know, in the system. So I thought it was kind of funny. All right, where are we at though? Let's leave this on range. I'm gonna take a quick break here. I'm gonna go hourglass. We'll come back. We'll do, I don't know, maybe we'll find something fun to do. But quick break. Take a walk, and I'll turn myself off for a second, and we'll just, you know, hang out here for a minute, and then we'll if anybody has any ideas, feel free to just drop them in chat here. Yeah, lazy, impatient, and hubris. Is that what the quote is? Because I remember there were 3 of them. All right, guys, I'll be back. We'll take a walk for a minute. All right. I'm back, but you guys can still hang out on your break for a little bit. Feel free to keep taking your break here. I'm just going to move this over here real small. Actually, move it over here real small. And then I will turn myself back on. All right, because I would have gone over that. Yeah, I would have went over that. So while people are still on break, feel free to, you know, don't rush back or nothing. If you're hearing me and going, oh shoot, he's going to start again, I'm sure it's not that important. But I'm also not starting just yet. I'm going to look at a couple of other things and see if there's any other good pieces of information that I can pull. Let's there's another tool. I don't know this tool, so let me look up. I don't know RackAtom. So there's a RackAtom CLI, and I do not know this tool, and I don't know much the way that we use this tool. Man, look at all these commands. That's a lot of commands. There's a lot of info that we could be pulling out of iDRAC. So iDRAC is a way that you connect into... Will my lights turn off? No, I guess not. I was like, it looks like it's darker in here. But anyways, all right. Let's look for... Hold on. Well, we're still on break. Because we're still on break. I need to see if... Jump over to the server. Come root. Let's history. Okay. Let me see. Got a set of commands here that I can do. Interesting. All right. So RackAtom is going to be one of my things that I go grab. Whoops. And then I'm going to show how we use, like, and then there's, so what RackAtom can do is, let me grab a screenshot of what it can, what I can show you. So across a bunch of servers, just some generic servers here that I am not showing the names of, right? It can show you the system information about the inlet temperature of the air, and just look for anything that's that has a variance, right? Side project, you finally writing that gateway and see? No. I'm not. I don't code enough. I don't code enough to do any of that stuff. I think I've told you guys, like, I don't have the patience for a lot of that stuff. Like, I look, I have some friends that, like, they'll go to a problem and they'll just chew on that problem all day, and then they'll figure it out and they'll go, aha, and then that'll, like, make their day. That doesn't do it for me. I mean, I have to solve some stuff as an engineer on the Linux side, don't get me wrong, but I don't just, software engineering, just, I did it in college, you know, because I had to, but I told you guys, sometimes you just can't love a thing. I did network engineering. I loved networks. I just didn't love network engineering. Like, I was like, this is okay. So the only one that I really has kept my interest and been good to me was, like, the Linux and platform engineering type stuff. Even, like, DevOps. When I get pushed up to do, like, DevOps-y stuff, I'll do it. But then I kind of, like, jump back down to just being, you know, keeping all the systems up and keeping everything running and building new servers. I do a lot of building of new servers. I think my boss is convinced that I'm good at that or something, because I've been doing that a lot. But not what I'm okay with that, but I don't love that stuff. So I'm like Ranger down there. I don't really want to do anything, but we do it because we have to, right? We gotta do something. We'll lose our mind if we don't do something. All right, I'm gonna stop this because it only has 14 seconds left anyways. Let's go look at this RackAtom guy. I want to get to, what are, like, some of the commands? Hold on, let's get down past, that was literally all just the command stuff. And RackAtom supports interfaces, a property database groups, and definitions. So you can run RackAtom, and then, so you can connect. There's two ways. There's two ways if you want to think it. Like, if you just want to put it in your head and think about it, the way that I just did it and showed you guys, but without the server names. Yeah, I don't write the code on top of it. Yeah, no, I don't do any of that stuff. I guess I do enough infrastructure as code, but that's, I mean, YAML, like if I tried to sit down at the table with all the software engineers and all I do is write YAML, they'd be like, get out of here. I'd be like, fair enough. I'll go sit with all the combat infantry guys. I'm okay with that. You wouldn't sneak me trying to pretend to be a software engineer. But my point is, I might show them this here for Rack Atom, because there's two ways to do this. The way they're showing here, where you go and you hit the IP address and you set a username and a password at the command line or in a script, and that's okay. That's a way to use the tool. But if you're on a system, you can run the Rack Atom against the system you're on, and it gets the credentials from being root on the system. Now, the reason that's important is if you're using a centralized place with keys, you can just go hit all the servers like I just did, and I pulled those individual pieces of information out from one command. But I wasn't doing this with authentication each time. I was using keys into the server, having the server check itself, bring me back just the one line I want and bring it back. That, to me, I think that's better than trying to keep track of this kind of stuff, right? I let the server get its own information and then give me back just the output I want. So I'm gonna post this because these are the ways that they could use Rack Atom, right? But it's not the way that we do use, or not the way that we're going to show them how to do it, right? So Rack Atom's a tool that they can use in their cluster if they so choose, right? As I told you guys, this will be us handing over this server, these set of servers, to these users, and they can use things that they do or don't want to use, right? So that's some generic syntax for Rack Atom, and they can pull information out, right? I don't need any of this. This will be, this will be like a reference, right? This is a CLI guide that I've given them. So here's the CLI guide. And I'm gonna include all through the presentation. There will be the actual references to things so that people can go and dig deeper, right? Because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have like users. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have like sysadmins. I'm probably gonna have some of their network engineers in there, and everybody's gonna have the thing that they're focused on, and not because look, high performance compute isn't just a one-man job. I mean, like, I know a few guys who have done all the jobs and are pretty good at it, and I've done most of the jobs, but I would not want to be the person who has to maintain the whole cluster by myself. There's too many nuanced things. There's too many things that could break, right? So these guys are going to go focus in on their areas of expertise and specialty and that kind of stuff. So there's that. There is also, let's go look. Let's see if there's a good, I think I'm going to have to draw this because I don't think anybody's drawn this out. But let's look at, let's see if there's a werewolf container management image. Ranger's down there licking his bed. Switch this up. Let's go to images. Let's see if anybody's drawn out. What does this thing look like? It's a Rutger slide. This is going to be at least a template, right? I'm probably not going to use the same one, but this is a good start, I think, for what Werewolf's doing. So, that's a good start of a drawing. I have a drawing. I just don't know where. I know I did one. But I thought I had, no, none of those. This is the one that I did the other day for logical volume management. I wonder if I have one in here that I did. Do it by date because it was one of my more recent ones. It might be. Actually, hold on. Let me check this one out real quick. Make sure it's relatively safe to show you guys. Make sure that it's not showing any information that's actually Yeah, there's nothing on here that's... So... Alright, I'm going to have to zoom in to show you guys this, but can everybody see this okay? Hold on, hold on. Can everybody see... Where the hell did that go? Here. Can you guys all see this okay? And here's the generic werewolf build process that we were using, basically, right? So, werewolf build process. Pull down to our local repository, build with Podman for any customizations, push back up to our repo, save the file locally, and then import into werewolf, and then any further customization, right? So then over here, this is kind of what it looks like. Something external to our organization. We pull down a Rocky 9.3 image, right? We harden it. We bring it down to our local repository. And I want to say... Yeah, and then we build it out with Podman for any customization. So Podman build, and then the container file that we've given for it. And then we tag it with the name. We save that locally. So we save that to... I want to say we just saved that... Yeah, that's just stored locally, yeah. Then we import the container file into our werewolf with whatever name we have, right? And then we come over here and we add any further customizations. What the heck is that? I feel like... Hold on a second. What is that? Get that out of the way there. All right. It's over here. Do any direct container interaction, Ansible security STIG configurations, which I was running. I was in charge of all that. Werewolf overlay, and then that produces secure images. And then the secure images are stateless nodes, pull them. That is kind of that was my process for how I kind of thought of it. I need to clean it up a little bit, but that was kind of that's my thoughts on kind of how this moves through, right? Well, and I've done this, now a few hundred times right here. So I feel pretty good about this build process, but I need to convey it to a team that's going to run the server going forward, right? So like I wouldn't necessarily show this to people. I might give them this high level, right? And I might kind of shrink this down. Maybe clean this up a little bit, and show them that, maybe. Maybe. I still think I can make that a little cleaner. And I'm comparing that kind of now to this other one, which this is what they did. But they're showing more of like what the werewolf server's doing, so that's fine. I'm looking, they have everything over here. Container image overlay. I'm showing the process how we got to a working container image. Why couldn't this be one app and then eliminate all these dependencies? Mr. Couture, because the app doesn't exist for that. I guess somebody could make that if they wanted to. But no, the werewolf tool is doing so much within the cluster. This werewolf tool isn't just doing the DHCP and the TFTP so that things can pull. It's also... it's doing our NFS, it's doing our DNS internal to the cluster. It's doing, what else was Werewolf doing? Oh, it's doing power management. It can connect to the iDRAC and do all the power management of turning nodes on and off and resetting them and that kind of stuff. So this Werewolf server has a lot of control over these individual nodes. So, yeah. This was a WinLab. This was somebody's summer project that they did. That's kind of cool. Yep. And this is like what my werewolf looks like in my home lab, right? You have your internal setup and then all that. So I'll show them all that. And then you can reconfigure all the services. So whenever you rebuild this or change this in some way, you enable NFS or you don't, then you have to do wwctl configure all and then restart the service. And then it's good. Change the DHCP up, you can do all kinds of stuff. This is a way to do it. I'm going to keep this open because there's some good stuff in here. This isn't the way that we do it, though. But this is a cool and interesting drawing for what we're doing. We're not using NFS. We're using Weka. But Weka's NFS under the hood, so... All right. Get rid of that syntax. We don't need that anymore. Yeah, I think I probably pulled today, so just the things that I've kind of like etched out with you guys here. Doominator a little bit, yeah. So look at this real quick. Oh, Mr. Couture, I'm sorry if you missed if you missed what I was talking about. Yeah, let me show you guys, for you guys that haven't been around to see it. This is what Werewolf looks like in my home lab, right? Let me jump over here to my Werewolf box. So we're in. Let's go to root, and let's look at over here. My cluster with all my Rocky nodes, right? So here's all the Rocky nodes in their virtual state. These are a bunch of nodes, and they're all up doing whatever they're doing. But over here, Werewolf is kind of controlling them from start to finish. So I do like wwctl node node list. wwctl would be useful if I did the right command. wwctl node list, and I can see all the nodes. But then I say, you know what? No, I need more. I need everything. And this is going to dump way too much info to the screen, right? This is a lot, but it's all the information about those nodes. So I can know for this Rocky 9 node that all these things are the default standards for how everything kind of works. Hold on. Let me see where the wife's coming from. Hold on. All right. So look at all these things. So here's my container, right? Remember we were talking about these are containerized images. So where do these all live? So var lib werewolf. There is a ch root. And in here, here's all the containers. So if I were to say wwctl container list, you'd say, well, that looks like a lot of the stuff that you got right there. And I'd say, yeah. And you know what I could do if I wanted to, as a Linux engineer that understands that I could go into a chroot jail, I could chroot jail into one of these and actually change that to my root, and that would be my system then, right? That would be like if I wanted to build or add tools there, I could call tools in there, and I could build stuff. But Werewolf will do that for me. So I'm going to hit Control-R, and I'm going to say exec. And I'm going to go into my Rocky Linux 9 lab, which is, by the way, the default one, right? And I'm going to say that I want to drop into there, and now I'm in an image, and I can say, let's do an RPM QA in here and look for if I have sysstat. Sysstat is a set of tools. I think I installed them the other day. I do have a sysstat. But let's say I wanted to install Ansible for everybody. Right, I say, well, we don't have Ansible, but we need Ansible. Okay, we do have Ansible. That's good. What's tool I probably don't have? Ugh, don't do it. Don't do Calce. Do we have Calce? Oh God, somebody put Calce on this thing. Let's say I want to remove Calce. This is a good one. I can say RPM-E, and I can get rid of Calce. Or a better way would be DNF remove Calce. Right, and it'll ask me if I want to remove it, and it'll say I'm going to remove all of these things. I'll be like, what the hell are you getting rid of Perl? I just want to get rid of Calce, right? Maybe I clean this up. I'm going to hit no, I don't want to do that. let's find something else to remove, or something else to add. Let's check it. Let's look for this. DNF install unzip. We might not have unzip on this box. Let's see. Small Blizzard. Okay. That's taking a little longer. I don't know why this is taking so long. Maybe somebody's on there. So people have access to all this lab stuff. You guys that have been around. I haven't even mentioned our Discord this whole time. Okay, so unzip is not on the system. So I'm going to hit yes, and I'm going to install it. But some of you guys have been paying attention. I'm in a jailed environment right now. So if I exit right now, it's going to say, okay, you had a successful error code. Your last response was a successful error code. So, successful return code, RC, right? Your return code was 0. So it's going to rebuild the image. If I had had a failed return code, or if I had typed false, and that would give a return code other than 0, then it would not build my container again. Why is that important? That is a basic container practice where when you're in a container, if you're ever running like a Docker, a Podman or you're a build of some type of a Docker file, if you have a command fail, and that's the last command, most commands that fail will kick you out anyways, but if you get all the way to the end and the last command is a failure, it won't finish building the pod or the image or whatever you have. So, something to think about. But now I have an updated version of this Rocky Lab with unzip. So you say, well, Scott, hold on. Do you have on Rocky 1, do I have unzip on there? So I do an RPM-QA. Now, if some of you know know Werewolf, you know that I don't, right? So I exit. Actually, I just stay on it and I reboot that box. So Rocky is going to reboot now, and we can sit over here at the console, right, as though we were actually sitting at the box, and we can watch that system boot right here. We're going to watch that system boot and actually get on, and it's going to do that whole iPXE process, because he's going to come up and he's going to go to the DHCP protocol and say, I don't know who I am. And when he does that, when he yells on all Fs at the Mac at layer 2, he says, I don't know who I am, and he broadcasts a DHCP request. He's going to get a DHCP reply from the Werewolf server. And he's going to say, you're going to see it right here, he's going to say, I know you by Mac, you are the Rocky 1 box. You're going to see it right here. And he's going to go, okay, well, do you know, like, I'm going to try to iPXE boot myself. And he's going to say, yeah, so you're Rocky 1. Here's your kernel image. And here is your initram FS image for your boot. So he's going to boot right now. He's going to pull that down. Well, he's pulling that most recent container image that was just built. So now when we go back to Rocky 1, he will have unzip on him. And all these other nodes won't. They will be out of sync with the rest of the cluster. When they go down and come back up, they will have unzip on them. So if people needed to unzip some tool or something like that, they can do it. Also, I'll tell you guys a funny one while we're sitting here. Does anybody remember in 2021, we got hit really hard right at the end of 2021. It's 2021? Might have been 2022. I forget now, but it was December. It was like December 9th of that year. I remember that part. We got hit with a really bad. It was that Java. It was that Java logging. What was that called? Somebody tell me. Somebody remembers. It was that Java logging vulnerability. And I remember it hit like 6 times in a row. We patched it, hit again. Patched it, hit it again. What the heck was that? Log4j. That's exactly it. And I was a big part. I won 2 awards for my company for my efforts with that, which was really funny because I was just like, oh my god, I'm just running, like I'm just doing my Ansible and doing my normal stuff to check all the servers. That's all I was doing. But I actually found a bug so Qualys wrote a script that would go and it would look for all the log4j, and log4j is sitting inside of these jar files, and it has to scan down into them. This little scanner tool. Yeah, it was log4j. Yep, that's right. And what happened was they let me think. Hold on. So they had this whole script installer for Qualys because we wanted the Qualys tool to pick stuff up, but they didn't have the scan set ready yet to put into their tool. But this was like, if you guys remember, this was emergency. This hit like 10, and then it was like another one was like 9.8, and then it was like 10 again. This thing was bad, right? And what happened was I found that their script didn't even check to see if you had unzip on your system, and if you didn't have unzip, it actually skipped everything and just told you, nah, you're good, bro. So I actually found that. I was on a call with my buddy Brian Canaday, who just left there, and Canaday, it doesn't matter. It's more like Canada. It doesn't matter. Brian, he just left there. He's a C-level at another company now, but he was at Qualys for a long time, and he just left there. But anyways, my closed captioning stopped for a second there. But he and I were on a call with like some of their engineers, and I'm like, guys, this is not working on all of our servers. And I said, oh, well, and I looked at their script. I'm like, because their script was just out on a GitHub. Anybody could pull it down. And by the way, this was one of the first things I ever did on stream was I wrote the installer that I used for this to blow it out everywhere. I can show it to you guys if you want. But it was a Qualys little patch that would go and check everything and then return it. But again, it just didn't error and it just didn't do anything if unzip wasn't on your boxes. Well, I build my systems really lean, so unzip is not on any of my servers, but definitely not on my production servers. And you might say, why? I don't want people unzipping shit on my production servers. Production servers shouldn't have things compiled on them. They should be compiled back in a pipeline somewhere and deployed as executable code, right? Like this is part of like controlling your systems, right? Like I need to just control this stuff. Love how companies always give awards for things like that are F, but not when things are going well and you're just actually kicking it. Yeah, Fisherman, like that's the thing is like, if you do everything right, nobody will ever be sure you did anything at all. Anybody remember that quote? Does anybody know where that quote comes from? It's one of my favorite shows ever. But yeah, so anyway, so I'm working on this and I fix it for them, and I didn't do a pull request because I didn't care that much about Git, but I let them fix it, and then I did. Yeah, the deployer. Well, anyways, this node's back up. Only took a minute to come back up, and when we go into that node, we should be able to an RPM QA grep-i for unzip, and it'll be on that box now because we put it down in the container image, and then it went through that process of pulling the new container image. This is different than things like overlays. With dynamic overlays, there's a process on all the Rocky boxes. Which you're probably like, I've never really seen that before. Well, a WW client is a Werewolf node runtime overlay updater, and it runs every minute or so, and it just updates the systems with dynamic overlays. So if you do things like update your DNS for the whole cluster, you can do it in one place and then overlay it to all your nodes like that. And DNS doesn't require any reboot on a node. It's just a change to the etsyresolve.conf, right? I've never seen that file locked, so it should just write and then be good. But every minute, this thing will just check for things. You want to update your Etsy host? You want to update your Etsy passwd and shadow file? Now, hold on. That's how we build clusters. Like our guys, we build all that. But then once it gets over to a customer for acceptance, they tend to connect in with like an authentication service, some kind of trusted. There's all kinds of them, but Keycloak is one that's big. You can connect to any type of LDAP, and the one that we use a lot of times on the Red Hat side is IDM, right? And then SSSD will just connect for you and that kind of stuff. Super easy. Super, like, it. I mean, it's almost, and when I say super easy, I mean it's like almost like stupid easy nowadays to just, I just want to connect to that. Oh, is this the schema? Well, is it the default schema? Because we use the default schema everywhere, and then it just all works. Or maybe you have to go play with the schema because somebody said, oh, I'll change this one thing because I don't want it to be people. I want it to be persons or something. I don't know. People do weird shit. You never know what they're going to do. So this is why I tell you guys, when we do systems work, we have to be so good at checking what is there and then validating what we expect, right? Like I expect this thing to come up a certain way, but I wasn't 100% sure that... I was pretty sure unzip was going to be there, but I wasn't 100% sure, so we go check. That's that old engineering adage, you know, one test is worth 1,000 expert opinions. We can get 1,000 of us together on Discord and we can argue all day about if uptime is going to show something, but why don't we just do it and see if it works instead of arguing about it, right? That's an old engineering thing, so. I don't know what I was doing on there. I don't know why I was showing you guys that, but this is part of, I have my own version of kind of what I've built for this big project. And I've had varying degrees of involvement with that set of tools and stuff. So there's that. Yeah, Fisherman, I lost track of how many times, like when I worked at Lockheed Martin, I was at Lockheed Martin for 5 years, and I think I got like 7 or 8 cash awards for stuff. And then I had a boss. I've told you guys my thing about Lockheed Martin. I had a boss who didn't like me, and he gave me the lowest rating you could give an engineer, and basically you can't recover from that. It would be like a cop with a bad shoot. You're never gonna recover from it, so you might as well go somewhere else. Like, this cop tanked my career, and like, I still talk to people from there, and they're like, I never understood why that. And actually, I talked to somebody the other day. I haven't been at Lockheed Martin for 11 years. They still run one of the things that I built for them on their monitoring, and I think that's really funny. There's dudes I know that still support something that I built over 11 years ago, so that's kind of funny. It's probably been updated. I hope it's been patched and updated, but it's this system, Nagios, right? If you guys have ever used Nagios, although mine's all busted right now, but it's not busted. The systems that were behind it are all busted, but I could update all that. It's just there's not a lot of need for that anymore with all the Grafana stuff that we have going on. You know, we got a lot of Grafana. I think Grafana is the superior tool to that for what we do now. So, all right, we'll leave that spinning. We had stopped that from spinning earlier. Did I post for you guys on the YouTube side? I don't think I gave you guys the Discord link, but I know Fishman gave it over there. So let me drop this over there for you guys. So guys that are hanging out on YouTube, that's the link. We don't charge anything for Discord. You just go hang out down there and, you know, talk with other people that are doing interesting stuff. You know, hopefully find. We're doing the sysadmin thing, and I was telling the wife the other day, this is probably my favorite things that was happening. There's like 5, 6, sometimes about 10 people that are going down and working on stuff and studying stuff on off times. And it's like, that's what the server's for. Like, you guys can go in there and hang out. I don't know if you guys have paid attention or anything, some of you that have joined, but there's people down there kind of just working and studying. They're working through the sysadmin labs. They're working through their own stuff. Some of the guys were pulling up XCP-NG the other day, which is a tool I use, but I don't tell you guys you have to use that tool. There's all kinds of other tools. But yeah, you guys can, you know, use the server. Go. My point is, you might find other people that are of kindred spirits. One person was saying, hey, I'm doing the sysadmin stuff with you guys, but I really want to get into, what do they want to do, like pen testing or something? Everybody thinks they want to do pen testing, and pen testing's fine. It's just, it's one of those things you got to start somewhere, right? So maybe you find other people that are interested in doing that with you. And then, you know, people have asked me like, hey, can I do like a study group on Fridays or something? Yeah, do whatever you want, you know, start setting stuff up. This is the point of the group, is to find other people that are interested in doing the same stuff as you. My interest, and most of the people that have been around, our interest is to get you guys into doing this stuff professionally. We're all hobbyists. We all do this stuff for fun. Most of the stuff I've been talking to today this is from Dell. This is all Dell stuff over here, and this is like stuff that I'm gonna filter over into my training on Dell tools, right? But the goal of this is to show you guys that there's it's possible for you to do this stuff professionally if you want to. Like, it's not like some certain level of talent that only can do this stuff. It's, you just have to go figure out, like, what does a company want? What does the company want you to do? And then you got to start figuring out how to close those gaps. We were over here. This is all of our job stuff. I show you guys this stuff all the time. Like, what you know, they want you to understand how to conduct backups, and you start to figure out how to do that. And then they want you to understand, stay updated with emerging technology, and you go and you figure out how to do that. There's a little sunflower doc from CISSP. I've shown you guys that many times. That's like, how does security work? How do we? I'll click this. I'll link this to you guys. This is a great doc. This is one of the best documents I've found. When I was studying for my CISSP, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, whenever I got mine, this is one of my favorite little. Oh, I gotta download it? Oh, well, here we go. So, if you guys want the link, here you go. I'll drop it there for you. This is, you have to give credit to the original author, Martin de Frankenreicher. He updated it, so 2019 was the updated version of it. But if you've never seen this, look, here's Domain 1, Security and Risk Management, for you guys that want to go get your CISSP. When you're studying all your other stuff and watching videos and stuff, when I was getting ready, I had this up on one of my 3 monitors at work, and I would just, all right, it's Domain 1 day. I'm going to make sure there's nothing in here that I don't know. Do I understand ITIL? Do I understand a service, a change, a release, and configuration? I don't want to get tripped up on anything. Do I understand risk management? What's the goal? How do I prepare for my assessment? How do I conduct my assessment? Threats, vulnerabilities, likelihood of occurrence, magnitude of impact, risk. How do I quantify that, or is it going to be qualitative? And then communicate the risks and results to management, and then maintain assessment regularly every 6 months or every year, depending on what your organization needs, right? So my point is, I came through this and I just made sure there was nothing I didn't know. Some of you guys that have not looked into taking a CISSP, they don't tell you what your score is. But I felt like I did pretty good. I felt like I was in the mid-90s, which, if you know me, means I was probably in the 80s. But that's fine. I felt like I did really good on the test. By the way, the test used to be, when I took my CISSP, I took it in this old format, and you could review your stuff as long as you needed. And I think it was like a 5-hour test, 4 or 5 hours. I took, I think, 2.5, and I felt really good when I left there. The CCSP that I took sometime last year, I think I got my CCSP, which is a Certified Cloud Security Practitioner. When I did that one, it's the newer test model where it just keeps moving forward. You can't go back. So you have to be confident of each answer as you go. There's no review. You can't even review answers. I think I had 145 questions on that one. And they told me at the beginning. So I thought that was a dynamic test, but they told me how many I'd have at the beginning. So I don't know if there's a reason for that. But my point is, these are good tests. They show you a large body of knowledge. Do they prove that you're an expert in anything? I don't think so. I think they prove that you can go and study a whole bunch and then manage this stuff. But my point in showing you this is a really good thing, that even if you weren't going to take a CISSP, you could at least come in here and go, okay, I want to know, by the end of today, I just want to understand these key encryption concepts. I'll know what a block cipher is, and that's not enough to teach you about block ciphers. So maybe you go watch a YouTube video from some cipher expert. Then what's a cipher? What is a cipher? What does that mean? Then what's a ciphertext or a cryptogram, clustering? And I have all these keywords and terms to go read more about for my notes. So this one page right here that maybe I study for today shows me all kinds of gaps in what I want to know about security. And then maybe you look at that and go, yeah, you know what? I'm going to leave the key stuff to the guys that really want to crunch the numbers. That's fine. But you can at least tell somebody why to pick an RSA instead of a DSA when you go study that for a little bit. And you can understand what it means to be extending of a key length or a key space. How do we extend a key space, and what does it mean to do that? You're at least not completely unknowledgeable about it if you're in a room where people start talking about these problems. Because not having the right key space for the problem you're trying to solve is a problem from a security standpoint, right? And you say, well, how would I know? Well, you got to go study it a little bit, right? But key space deals with how many times a key is going to be used, and if you're generating keys, when you're going to have to roll over and start using the same keys again. And you don't want to do that generally. So anyway, so what's the difference between asynchronous and synchronous? And why, if synchronous is easier, why don't we always use synchronous, and what's asynchronous used for, right? Like that kind of stuff. Asynchronous is used for non-repudiation and having a third party prove that you are who you say you are, so then I can trust you. So we have a third party trust associate, right? And I've shown you guys how that works. That's all PKI stuff, X509 certs and stuff. But anyways, my point is, this is one of the best things that I think that you could go spend time with if you wanted to do security stuff, right? Or if you wanted to have one other thing on your resume that looks good. So anyways, look at this. This was liaise. Did I spell that wrong? Probably. Liaise with vendors and third-party providers for the system integration and support. And I said never leave an email unanswered. This was one of my little tricks. I check every morning, see if there's anything in my basket, in my court, and I kick it back over to the other side. Because some of these guys, like Fisherman would tell you, Fisherman does work with companies. I'm not going to tell you what he does, but he works with companies. And I can almost guarantee you that he checks his email pretty regularly, because if anybody has a request for him, he doesn't want that request to sit. He might not have like a key performance indicator around it. It might not be the same as like a server being down. But if somebody's asking him something, he probably gets back to him pretty quick, right? And, I said treat them like hot potatoes. Don't leave things in your cart. Send them back. It can be an informed response. It can be a quick, hey, I'm going to touch this and get something more solid back to you by the end of today. But I do not leave stuff just sitting there. So. Yeah, Aiden, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Yeah, the goal of this is it depends if you like them, fishermen. Probably depends how much money they're spending too. But yeah, Aiden, I hope this stuff's useful to you, man. This is the goal of this is to show you guys you can do it. I tell you guys all the time this, and again, this is why this last week was so cool, man. Like, just people have been down in the Discord. Actually, let me go check. There may be people down in the Discord right now hanging out. Hold on. There's nobody down there working. Treasure's down there, but he's just gaming. So you can go just hang out down there with them. Maybe like me and Salty Catfish, we used to just sit down there and he would just game and I would be working on my stuff and then we just sit around and talk. And he and I knew each other professionally before he ever hopped on my Discord or whatever. But yeah, I can respond. Hold on. Wait, where's that at? It's right here. Nope, it's this one. I can answer that. For money. I can answer that. For money. Anyways. Yeah. Oh, look, and then that's why that took me to 4, which is my Linux engineering one. I have too many of these open. I have way too many of these open, guys. We were over here. Backup stuff, patch stability. This was managed patch stability, and I told you guys I need to draw this out one of these days. But how do we patch servers, and how do we? Oh, I actually need to do this for the Linux Systems Administration course. Now I'm going to take this note and go put it in my other notepad so that I remember it. So. Look at Ranger Dog. By the way, guys, if you're wondering, Ranger is being passed through. He has a, what is that called? Hold on, it's yeah, it's MJPEG, and then I'm just using an iframe inside of an older, less secure version of Grafana, and then these are newer versions of Grafana over here. All these ones, so all this stuff that you're kind of seeing is just. Like, it's my heads-up display about my network and, like, what I care about, like, the security of my environment and my home lab here. So, we're running a Linux Systems Administration course, and it's in week 4. That's also free, by the way, and that's also down in Discord. And when we're done with it, me and the guys were talking the other day. Actually, somebody mentioned it on here, and I was like, that's actually a pretty good idea. What I'm probably going to do is I have... So, without getting too much into the architecture of my home lab, I have two networks that come into my home lab, and this one is like my home one here. And like most of the time, when people pop on, they're popping on my guest network, which is downstairs. And that guest network downstairs for guests and other stuff, I thought about moving my servers down to that, and that's on a different. I have 2 internet connections coming to my house. I know you might say, "Oh, that's kind of Chad of you." Well, I don't want to be offline. Like, I'm an engineer. I make money by being online, right? Not here. I don't make any money here. I don't make any real money here, anyways. But like I make money as an engineer for being online, doing stuff and building stuff, right? So the reason I bring that up is this other network with CenturyLink. I can turn that into a business line for like $10 more, and then a business line would give me a static IP. And what I was going to do was the guys that finished the Linux Systems Administration course, I think I'm going to turn them into my I'm going to make them like my systems administrators, and I'm going to make them manage that network and that those set of systems. I'm going to make them manage it. I'm not going to make them if they want to. I'm going to give them the opportunity to, and then they'll be able to say, I've maintained these labs for the Professional Linux Users Group. I'll show them how to forward. Did you guys know you could forward these ports here? So this is port 3000 on this port, or on this 192.168.11.218. You could connect to it. Hold on, I gotta turn my camera off for a second here. You could connect to this off of a Linux box in my home network here, and then you could actually forward this back with X11 forwarding, and you could watch this on your own machine at home. Yeah, Codalingus, I think it would be kind of valuable for people to say, like, look, maintaining 20 servers is better than having maintained none. Well, actually, I have a lot more than 20 servers in here, but I'm saying like just the lab we're doing here is about 27. And these ones this week, the blue node and red nodes, they're going to become targets of compromise for us. So these are going to be nodes that we start to mess with this week. So I'm going to show you guys how to start to, I have it actually right here, what we're doing. But for the next few weeks, we're going to be managing users and groups, doing the firewalls and patching systems. And then when we're done, in between this stuff, we're going to actually hit all this other stuff. By the way, I turned my camera off because my wife is here. Wifey. So hold on a second. She's coming up with food, I think, for me. So I might have to sit here and munch. Fisherman, I can't get the DLC. It's not for sale yet or something. I saw a thing that said that it was released 2 days ago and it's going to be in beta for like 8 more days. And I'm like, wait a minute. I know for you got it? That's bull. Maybe my Steam hasn't been updated. Hold on. Hold on a second here. Here's my Steam, right? And content for the game. This one. Oh, guys, if you haven't played Brotato, man, this is a... oh, I gotta do the same thing and beta and change it to beta DLC. Yeah, I don't remember where that was. I'll have to find that. Right-click properties, beta. Hold on. Just anywhere in here? No. Up here? And the actual... Right-click the game in the so my library. Guys, you're gonna laugh. I don't really have like a whole bunch of games. I don't really play a lot of games. I do not have very many games. Properties. Properties, betas. I see. Oh, it was unstable for what's his name earlier?
What's up?
Hey, Quartz One, how's it going? Yeah, Julie, I got the camera off. You can come on in. The wife's bringing me snacky snacks. Thank you. Love you. It said thank you. I said loves you. But my thing only said thank. Anyways, all right, guys. Let me get give me the library. Yeah, Fisherman. There's a character that I watched. It was actually funny. I watched a guy break him earlier. Well, it was Admiral Baru. He broke the character by, hold on a second here. What he did was it's a dude who has a little harpoon gun, and when you hit somebody with a harpoon gun, you get 300% damage. And then what he did was he just did cactus clubs. So then with the cactus clubs, you just you generate a bunch of like basically just flak everywhere. He was somebody you had to unlock, though. Let's see this game real quick, guys. Hold on. Also, I can't be on camera because you guys would not want to hang out if I was eating on camera. Yeah, this guy, Fisherman, you leave all his stuff on the ground, and the turret collects it at the end. But the turret fires whatever gun you pick, and it gets stronger and stronger based on whatever thing you pick. So I saw Baru use a whole bunch of different crap on this one. Sorry, guys, I'm munching on... Anybody want to try to take a guess on what I'm eating? No, but a burrito does sound good, but no, not eating a burrito. I am eating. The wife stopped and got me Dairy Queen. I don't know if you guys have them where you live, but sometimes, excuse me, sometimes Dairy Queens will have like a grill in them. So, oh, the salsa from the friend, that stuff was hot that one time. Nope, I'm eating chili dogs. And that was plural. Well, I guess I'm only eating one at a time, but if I could stuff them both in my mouth at once, I might. And she brought me a small blizzard with Oreo. What was in Phoenix, Fisherman? If you were going to come to Phoenix, what was out here? If you don't mind telling me. My wife's in Boston next weekend. Well, Fisherman, if you ever make it out to Phoenix, I'll tell you what. In a way that only an Arizonan and then a guy who grew up working at a shooting range from the time he was 11 and then went in the infantry and then got out like 20 years ago, I can assure you that I could take you out to the range and have you shoot things that you're not going to shoot anywhere else. So if you're ever out here and you want to go to the range, you let me know. All right. Yeah, so if you take like a slingshot with this guy, your turret will get slingshot, and it'll get more and more. Let's try this one. And we only play it on 5, guys. We don't play it on any of the lower modes. All right. I'm done with the 2 corn dogs, or chili dogs. Don't worry, guys. We'll go back to tech stuff. I just got to play video games for a little bit first. All right. Oh yeah, wow. You guys see how that's choppy? Oh, wow. Yeah, it's, that's not great. It's probably because I'm streaming and running multiple monitors. Excuse me. All right. Take armor. Take attack speed. I'll up my guns because the turret does better based on your highest gun. So, all right. And then we want engineering, really. Also trees. I'm just realizing, do I have to unlock something? Because I'm only getting the normal enemies. Whoops. I'm only getting the normal enemies in the level, so I might need to wait. Let's do this. We're going to let the turret pick that up. So the turret gets stronger. We want loot aliens. And we'll take range. Get more guns. This lowers the reroll price, so we want that. Quartz one, is that a hold on. Is that a fisherman guy, bro? Oh yeah. He's got the little dancing brotato in chat. That's funny. Yeah, Agalord. Yeah, I haven't been to the range in a while either. I started shooting competitively when I was 7 and pulling targets at 11. And then I went in the infantry, so go figure. Yeah, I think my system, by the way, I think I can improve performance by dropping these 2 things down. Hold on, I'm going to drop 2 things down real quick. And I think, yeah, see how that performance went up? Because on my third monitor, I had two windows open that were showing me myself in Twitch and on YouTube. So since I moved those down, the system's working a lot better. All right. Oh, we'll take that. We'll take that one. Little penguin's kind of cool. Take that. Take a baby squid here in a little bit, but not right now. All right. Where's this thing at? All right, let's just stand on him while I eat my blizzard. I'm not even going to move. All right, I got to move a little bit. Oh, not killing enough. All right, there we go. All right. Oh, thank you for that, Agalord. Yeah. So, see if we can't get some. We're gonna combine these because that, I think, in theory, that makes that thing higher. So we'll grab that when we can afford it, and we'll grab that when we can afford it. All right, let's go back and kill things. I just maybe I gotta unlock the other map. I'm not sure. Fisherman, have you been playing it yet? Have you been brotatoing it up? I'm gonna try not to take too many materials. I think you have to take some. Like, I was watching Admiral not take any, Baru, but I think you gotta take some. I think you gotta level your guy up a little bit. I just don't think you should level up. Like, I don't think you should go out of your way to take everything. I think you should leave some for the turret, and then the turret can kind of get stronger, and then, you know. Yep, so the turret's getting stronger. More trees, more range. Alright. That's all I could afford that level. See how the turret's now shooting faster and has 2 bullets? The turret's going to just keep, you know, power leveling itself, basically. So, just want to keep giving him the loots. I just kind of keep staying near him so that he can shoot everybody for me. Oh. Shoot everybody. Oh, don't die. Number 1 rule in this game: don't die. Don't die to stupid stuff. Don't die, but especially don't die to other stupid stuff. 10% damage again. So this might be good, but it's higher damage against things with more health. So that's good, like when you're first hitting them. We want, for ourselves, we'd like range damage, but I really need to get engineering. I'll take armor. That. And we'll want hit points eventually. And we don't care about melee damage right now for us, so eat some more of my stuff here. Oh, I see, Fisherman. I should change the map. All right, give me a second here, guys. I'm over here munching on, don't mind me. All right, this is the one with the little eggs. You just got to pop the eggs. Nothing's too dangerous as long as that guy's killing everything. Oh, don't die. Number 1 rule, guys, don't die. I think it's funny that thing said number 1 for me too. Oh, don't let him get me. Oh, I died to a loot goblin. Jeez. That's embarrassing. However, I did have Dairy Queen Blizzard on the brain, so. Yeah, I've seen some of those other monsters in that other map, Fisherman. It looks kind of interesting. All right. Turn to menu. The Abyss. Ah, there we go. Are these different characters? Oh, you got to win again. I see what you're saying. Oh, you can make an enemy your buddy with this guy. Interesting. All right. I won't play this too much here, guys. Although, there's one character I really love. I really like a lot of these guys, but I really like this Techno Mage character. He's been a fun character, but weapon damage additionally scales with 50% curse. Oh wow. Yeah, take care, Agalord. You guys are always welcome to hang out. Let me get this out of the way. I can't play that right now. I'll mess around too much. Let me check. Excuse me. Let me come back to. I'm gonna put my two little live streaming tabs up. Back to here. Another 3 months of your life with the DLC. Yeah, just remember it's not the real game, so you don't have to get addicted to playing it. I need to pull up my training a little bit here, and go back over here. I'll start adding all these in. Let me see if there's any. Need to make sure there's no types of nodes that I missed. Oh, I popped myself back up here too. All right. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for any other types of nodes that I missed. I think I got all the types that I know of. Yeah, that'll work. So that'll be a pretty good start over there. All right. Fisherman, you still playing? So you're not even gonna stream tonight, are you, Fisherman? I need you to just put it down. Go start streaming so I can raid somewhere. But yeah, hopefully, again, the goal of this is to get you guys doing this stuff. Nast streamed enough earlier. Oh yeah, you were on earlier. I forgot about that. You were just doing the setup stuff. And I'm sad because I told my wife to just get me a small blizzard. I'd still be eating it if it was a large blizzard. So that's my fault. That's on me. I'm just kidding. All right, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna find somebody to raid. I appreciate you guys coming by. We'll be pretty serious again this Saturday, right? Friday. So I told you guys, as of Friday, my wife's gone for 10 days. So Friday I might be streaming late, and I think I'm just gonna start like, so we got the Linux system administration stuff for people that feel like they've got the basics down, but I'm just gonna be doing like Linux basics, just getting on the system, typing. It's gonna be like follow along and do this stuff with me, because again, I really do think like most people just need the permission. They just need to see that they can do it, and then it'll be a lot. It'll be a lot of typing and stuff, but I think most people can do it, and then we'll just spend some time doing that around week 5, because week 5 starts this Saturday. Yeah, right. I mean, we're getting through it, man. Lots of Linux system administration so far, and we're pivoting over towards security. So that's where we're at. So, all right, let's go find somebody to raid. End of stream. Find somebody that's doing interesting stuff out in our Twitch side of things. Unfortunately, on the YouTube side, guys, I can't raid anywhere. So let's just go raid over to. We'll raid over to Sid. If you guys don't follow Sid, he's in science and technology, and what he does is mostly soldering and working on just a whole bunch of cool sound stuff. So we'll go hop over there. And any of you guys that want to, go ahead and hit him with the raid. Our raid message is typically just our Linux rage command. I think most of you have it. And yeah, I will be around. I'll probably be back on tomorrow night. Although I do have a college class to teach tomorrow night and more training to build. So, we'll work around that. But I appreciate you guys coming. All right, take care. Oh, he's got his kitty cat out. All right, I'll see you guys. Take care.